hi guys, my name is Yajat Goswami and today we will be learning about rollup. How do we use rollup in SQL? So it is an option which allows you to include extra rows in the table which represents the subtotals, or you can also say which represents the super aggregation of the rows along with the grand totals. So we will see how we can use that. It is quite similar to the feature of grand totals which we use in pivot tables in Excel. So let us quickly go through the example which we will be using to learn this. So this is a raw data of a store. So these are the sales amount, country, state, customer name, date, and order ID. What we're interested in is creating this table. As you can see, we want to create this table in SQL. What it is showing is the countries are seen in the columns, state corresponding to each country is seen in columns again. Years I have, so this table is generated using the pivot tables feature in Excel. So years, as you can see, they are grouped as the date. From the date format I have extracted the years using grouping feature in Excel. And grand total, again, it automatically comes in the pivot tables. Values over here are sum of sales. As you can see, sum of sales. What it is showing is, suppose in Afghanistan, in state Kabul, in 2012 the total sales was 8,624. Similarly, for each state in each country, the total amount of sales is given. What is this showing? Total sales in Afghanistan, that is the summation of all the states, all the sales made in each state in each year. So 1729 is the summation of this plus this. This is 1729 and so on. And if we sum these four values, we will get this grand total. Like this whole table is created. And at the last, as it is quite logical that we will be getting the grand total of all the countries in each year. Like this is for 2011, 2012, 2013, 14, and the grand total, that is the summation of these four. Now we will see how to create this table in SQL. So this whole table I imported in SQL. So first let us look at this command. What I am writing over here is, if the year extracted from new order date. So new order date is the new column which I have created because the date format was not understandable by SQL. So I converted into the dates into the SQL date format using string to date function. So I'm extracting year from new order date, applying the condition if this year is equals to 2011, then sum what? If this is true, if this condition is true, then sum sales is the name of the column, as we can see over here as well. This sales, sum this sales, else if the if statement gives false, then 0. Then don't add anything, then we don't want to add anything. So this is the condition I'm giving for 2011. Then this whole thing will be represented in the column named 2011. I'm naming the column as 2011. I'm also rounding it off to 2 decimal places just for the representation sake, like it is good to read. Similarly, this whole concept I'm repeating for 2012, 13, 14. At last, I'm adding one more column as grand total, which will be this. It is doing summation of this as grand total for all rows. This is doing like this. The grand total column, which will be containing the summation of these four values and the final value. as the final value in the grand total. Alright, this is a simple thing which we did. We grouped by country because countries were repeating many times as we see in the beginning. So I want to see the total sales in each country in each year. So this is how I'll do it. And the total row total is given. This is not the grand total. This is just for each country. We have not achieved this thing. This row is not there. So in order to achieve this, I will be using a command called with Rollup. What this will do, it will simply aggregate all the rows above it. See, if I just run this command, now it has given me one extra row. What it did was, I just wrote with Rollup, and what it did for me, it just did the sum of all the rows above this. I have written grouped by country, so it grouped all the countries together and it gave me a summation. This value is the summation of 2011, this 2012, 2013 and 2014. This is the grand total, that is the summation of this plus this plus this plus this. Now this is the roll-up feature which we used simply. Now I want to see state-wise. Okay, before that, we'll see how to get rid of this null value, this null cell. See, I want to name it just for the sake of understanding and easy to read. So what I'll do is, now we'll understand how can we name it. We don't want to see this null, we want to name it. So we'll use a if condition along with grouping. So what we are doing is, if grouping is done based on countries, which we are doing, because all the sum of countries we are doing, which is this value, right? So if condition, if grouping is based on countries, then if this thing is true, then name it as grand total. Grand total should appear if the if statement gives true, which is only true for this row, right? Because the grouping of countries is done, it's done in this row, grouping of all the countries. So this statement is true, then it will give me grand total. If this statement is false, which is for all rest of the rows, nowhere else all the countries are being grouped, so then it will just show country, which it is showing. See, name of all the countries, right? Only over here it is true. Grouping country, this statement is true, so it will display as grand total. If it is false, just display the name of the country, which it is doing. This whole thing, I want to name this column as country, which is this thing. So this command we type just to name this last row, as I don't want to see it as null. Let me run this. Now see, we can see grand total over here, and rest of the places the name of the country is there. Now I want to do based on states as well. So just I'll put one more thing, state over here. Now grouping is done based on both country and state. And again a condition for states. Now same logic, if grouping is done based on states, then name it as state total, else just show the name of state. As state means it should be under the column name state. See, when I'll run this, it will create. See, if we take example of Afghanistan, so Kabul 2012 8624, and a new row is being added over here for state, for all the state total. Like this state total is the summation of these 4 states. You can see it over here. So 1729.41 is the summation of these 4. Similarly, all for all the years it is done. Like this, one row each for each country is being added. If 122 countries are there, 122 rows will be added just by using this roll-up feature. Grouping is done based on country and state because we want to see for each state in each country, and also we want to see the total sales in each country, and at last we want to see the grand total, that is all the sales done in each year in all the countries. So this is how we use the roll-up feature, which is an addition feature, which is just an extension of group by feature of SQL. And these two commands are just for the sake of naming, otherwise it will show as null. Whenever the row is added, the values will be appeared, but the naming won't be proper, it will show null over there. So just to avoid that, just to make our table more understandable and more readable, we use these. This is how we create the table along with the aggregated rows. That's it from my end. Thank you so much for watching this.